Welcome back to Baddy Smash Recap. We are on week 4 of Baddy Smash. The tension is heating up. I'm here with my co-host Slade. Slade, welcome back to the booth. I'm glad you're here.
It's always a pleasure talking with you, Blaze.
Let me summarize last week for you. We had an amazing last week. It was the elimination round for some. Others, it was the last win they needed to advance. But there were a lot of good matches from start to finish. I'm just going to get right into it. Craziest match for me was LPJ over Salvo. That highlight reel that LPJ had was sick. Just pandemic level sickness. Her getting her shield popped, surviving on Spring Stadium, a very convincing win of 2-0. Salvo never disappoints with the RNG manipulation between misfires. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a wonderful set to watch for sure. And I'm really happy that she's showing us that Puff is just like this honestly really cool, interesting character and beating the gatekeepers. Now we know that she's past the gates.
Yeah, for sure. Advances to the next round. Another big match was, I think, Alpha Mu over Lars. I think that went to, if I remember correctly, I think it went to game 3 where, you see like this engorged amount of bets for Lars, and he's doing well. He has some really good stocks. He has a great spike on Alpha Mu, but he couldn't get the W from Wisconsin's PGR. But I think he is, yeah. Of course, he's already D1, so we'll see more of him and we'll see more of his matches, but I think will be amazing.
Yeah, that game was so fun. It's always fun watching Alpha Male doing these crazy combos. He makes it look like it's Melee. I swear. I think I'm watching Melee when this guy plays.
Second week in a row, we got to see the Pyra Mithra Ditto, which I think was pretty funny. Instead of Candy versus Chai, we saw Wang versus Dreaded Canadian. They switched off pretty quickly. Wang just went back to his Mega Man, and I think he did not end up advancing to the top 16.
Yeah, he is in the elimination bracket now.
Okay. So if we want to see more rollers, you'll have to stay tuned for the elimination bracket. So to summarize from top to bottom, the top 16 are the players as follow. Seeded 1, Candy Jack, KK, Duds, Alpha Mu, Chai, Mad Cow, Blaze, Lars, Wellens, Albino Joe, Ed Reaver, LPJ, Trev, Jimbone, AJS0, and Salvo holding down the 16th spot. Slade, give me your thoughts on the top 16.
I mean, nothing here really surprises me.
I heard you say earlier when we were talking about Salvo's matches that, he's sort of the gatekeeper for D1, and Wang has also been considered the gatekeeper for D1. So is there a guard? Would you say there's a guard on each side of the gate? Wang is on the outside of the gate, making sure other D2 players can't get in, and Salvo is on the inside of the gate, just to make sure, if you want to be D1, if you would be considered D1, then you've got to go through me. Or would you say only one of them can be the gatekeeper? I want your opinion on
that. I do think that is going to be up for discussion for sure after this season. Like I said, the talent has risen so high. There's really no bad players in this league anymore. It's hard to say where the gatekeepers align. I mean, they did get eliminated, and the people that beat them barely got in, so maybe they are still the gatekeepers. I don't know.
And I don't think one thing we don't talk about a lot is sort of the momentum as the season progresses. So previous seasons, right? Mad Cow will lose a bunch of games. He'll qualify for playoffs, and then we just see Mad Cow explode with these like really one-sided matches where he's just running over his opponent. And it's just like, that's what reminds people that Mad Cow is in the top 3 when you're talking about the top 3 of Baddy, or top 5. And I'm wondering, do other people share sort of that characteristic? Do people like Kaiser, are they just slow starters? And, they couldn't get really some good momentum going before they started to really perform well. That's what I've been thinking about looking at this list and looking at the people that eliminated. Because there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of really good talent in that elimination bracket.
Oh, yeah. You know who I do kind of think fits that bill a little bit, or at least has in previous seasons?
Who's that?
KK, actually. Two seasons ago, he did end up in losers and did almost get knocked out. Like, he was on his last limb. brought it back, won the whole thing. But that is a game that AJS0 just put in his top 10 greatest matches of Baddy Smash history.
That was my next question. That was my very next question. Was that game in his top 10?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe it's sitting at number 3 right now, and I highly recommend reading it. It's very well worded and put together, and that was one of the highlights of my casting career. I will say that watching that game, I was literally getting lightheaded.
Okay, I'll look it up. I'll review it. All right, let's not keep people waiting any longer, Slade. Let's get into Slade versus Blaze in week 4.
Okay, yeah, let's get this going. You know, Blaze, when you first joined Baddy, I could instantly tell that you've always been smarter than me, and that you've always been superior to me in every other way. Do you think I'll ever be able to win a bet against you, or should we just quit this? You know, is this even fun if I can't win?
No, it's still fun. I think we should keep doing it, Slade. You know, you're 0-2 right now. You haven't gotten a correct prediction yet. But one of the reasons I agreed to do this podcast with you is because, you know, it's a lot of fun. You know, we got a little dialogue. We've got a good back and forth going. So I have faith that you will make a correct prediction, Slade. So don't give up just yet.
Well, thanks for carrying me.
Right. Once again, I have forgotten the format. I don't know if the loser picks the match or does the loser pick the punishment.
Okay, so this week you choose the game. I choose the player to bet on. So do you have a game you would like to bet on, or a certain bet? It doesn't have to even be a win or loss. It could be whatever you want.
Okay. All right. So I'm looking at Mad Cow versus Head Reaver. I'm looking at Alpha Mew versus Trev. Duds versus Jimbone could be good. Those are two vets. Those are two Baddy vets.
You know, if you wanted, okay, so Duds is notorious for cracking when there is something on the line.
Let's do it. Let's do Duds versus Jimbone. Let's do Duds versus Jimbone. Who you got?
Oh man. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, I do want to bring this up. There was $100 money match on a game that everyone thought, like,
oh my god,
99% of people thought that Duds was gonna win, and somehow Duds lost, and I completely think it was the pressure of that $100. So I'm gonna go for Duds and put all the pressure on him to not lose this game.
Your hypothetical $100 is on Duds.
Yes, I'm putting my 100 on Duds.
All right. I think Jimbone won me the bet last time. I don't mind betting on Jimbone once again. What are the stakes?
The Baddy Bets has definitely been probably a favorite amongst the viewers because that's what everyone talks to me about, especially after I had to change my profile picture for a week.
Excellent. In your other, they brought it up in other servers. Did they bring it up in other servers?
I had one guy go, dude, what's with your profile? Why is your profile picture a trash can? And I was just like, I lost the bet. And he's like, oh, okay. This was a suggestion from AGS0. The loser has to sing that Tekken yodeling song for like 30 seconds or something, and it will make it like the intro of the next Baddy recap.
That's heartbreaking.
I'll tell you, it's something I really don't want to do. I wouldn't probably be bringing it up unless if I didn't have any other ideas, because I really don't want to sing yodeling in the meadows.
It's for the people. It's set in stone. The loser will be singing Tekken yodeling for the intro. The virtual handshake has been shook.
Okay. Don't you fail me, Duds. Don't you fucking fail me, Duds.
God damn it, Jim. God.
This one, dude, I really don't want to do this.
I remember them playing that damn yodeling song just during the countdown clock.
Yes.
And I had to burn 4,000 Baddy coins. I was like, get this out of here. Get this yodeling song out. Anything else.
Thank you. It's like the theme song of this season.
All right, well, coming up next, we've got an interview with LPJ, our Puff main for Baddy Smash 6. We are here with LPJ Low Profile Jones. LPJ, good to have you on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
This is your rookie season, Baddy Smash 6. So I'm just going to start off with one of the questions that we always ask our guests. What was your intro to Smash, your first Smash game, and sort of your Smash background?
My first Smash game was 64 back when it came out. I think I was in like 10th or 11th grade. And I mean, I was hooked right away.
Okay.
Yeah, I played it so much with friends. I mean, it was all silly stuff. It wasn't competitive at all, but it was like items on, and it was just amazing.
The way Sakurai intended. Did you play Puff from 64 all the way into Ultimate?
No, actually, I didn't even have a main. Let's say I wasn't competitive in Melee, and I didn't get competitive in Brawl. It wasn't until Smash 4 that I started getting competitive, and my original main was Ness, but I eventually switched over to Puff. It was just so much fun. It was too fun.
A lot of people compare Puff to Ness and their like floatiness, weirdness with their movement. So it seems like a natural transition.
Yeah, it was a bit of some adapting to do, but yeah, the floatiness that was a little bit easier to get to used to than switching to like a fast faller. Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of the Puff, have you ever had your shield broken prior to last week?
Not and survived. Never had a break in and then survive. No, definitely, it breaks. It's a risky run. You're gonna get your shield broken and die at like 10% from time to time with buff. So just don't do that. But then again, at the same time, you get good at knowing what moves you can hold shield and know when you have to parry for dear life. So it's not all bad. But yeah, that was amazing. I couldn't believe that happened. I was dying.
Yeah, that was. I think Salvo couldn't even process what happened because he kind of just sat there and waited for you to come down.
I watched him just stand there. I was so surprised. It felt like I was up there for an eternity. And he was just standing there, and I was just like, "Oh Lord, Jesus, take the wheel."
Jaws were definitely on the floor. Yeah, it was quite an incredible highlight. I look forward to watching it over and over again. That was your third win, the match we're talking about versus Salvo, if I'm correct, which
Yes.
advances you into the second stage of Swiss. You will
Yes.
be playing against the rest of D1 as well as the D2 players that made it. And your first match is against Chai. So I just want to hear your thoughts on your upcoming match against Chai.
I feel all right about it. Chai is one of the first names that I learned in the Baddy Smash server, and he's just so good, and he's always been a challenge. But we played some friendlies lately, and I think I'm feeling pretty good. It feels good to hear him say that he thinks it's going to be a challenge, so that makes me feel a little bit better too. So I feel pretty good about it. Now, whether I think I'm going to win, it's hard to say. It's possible, but I'm going to put up a good fight.
I'm curious about Puff. Like, you're the first person to bring it into the league. Does Puff have any like really bad or polarizing matchup, or maybe really good matchups as well? Like, how's the matchups feel with that character?
Oh gosh. Some batch like I think sorties are really, really hard because they can just swat me away. They're very disjointed. So even it's yeah, I can't hardly ever trade with a sortie, especially if they have really good spacing. So I think those are especially difficult. Some people say heavies, because she's so light, she can die so soon. But I really like fighting heavies a lot. They're just fun to combo. But then again, they die from rest so much later. So there's still so much time that I can take a lot of damage and die. So they're a different challenge.
I think the highest I've seen Puff on a tier list is like maybe mid tier. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say Puff is high tier. But I think she's got really good weapons. It's just that, the weaknesses are so blaring.
Yeah, you have to be on game the whole time. You have to know her ground game as well as her air game. Everyone focuses on her air game, but her ground game is actually really, really good. But you have to be able to put it all together. You can't just coast on any one thing. You're gonna die really early.
Yeah, there's a lot of sword characters who their recovery isn't great. So it's like that's where Puff really excels. Like, oh, I've got a sword character in disadvantage, and then you can just gimp them. But getting there is quite a hassle.
Yeah, and she has some movement options, some of her more advanced movement options that let you get in on sorties and surprise them, but they take a lot of practice.
Okay, so is there actually like tech, or do you just mean like how you use the double jumps, or is there actually like a special thing? Like,
Yeah, so there's a way of landing. It's kind of like the wave land that every character can do. It's called a Shene land or sometimes a bit land, depending on who you ask. But you land with backwards momentum, and then you kind of do a quarter circle on the stick, and she slides along the ground, and you could slide and shield, and you could sneak up on someone that way.
okay, cool. I'll pay attention next time I'm watching and see if I can spot it. Do you do it often, or is that something you're still working on?
I can get it sometimes. I've started incorporating it more lately, but it's kind of new for me. Yeah, so if you see me floating around with back towards the opponent, it means I'm probably looking for that.
Miss Jones, so we were saying that I already knew how you got into Baddy because I sent you the invite. I'm glad I did. But I don't know your first impressions. I believe you came in near Baddy Smash 5 and you just sort of like just watch the general chat and see what the memes were of the server and stuff. What were your first impressions meeting the gang?
Well, I thought everyone was super welcoming. Everyone's super nice, and I like how personal and kind of close knit it is. Been really good being a part of it, being really good practicing with everybody. Just very welcoming, very personal. More so than going to a tournament where you don't know a lot of people.
Do you prefer hanging out in the Baddy server rather than going to a local where you might not know as many people?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like hanging out on Discord a little bit better.
Sometimes you just want to play Smash in your pajamas, you know?
Yeah, and you just want to like it's a smaller group, but you get to know people and you get really good matches when you learn people's movements that way, which you don't get immediately when you go to a tournament and play somebody new every single time.
Mm-hmm.
There are pros and cons. It's a lot of fun to play in Batty.
For the record, you can go to your local in pajamas, Slade. Don't let society stop you from going to your local
Yeah.
gym.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'll do
It's all
better.
good. It's all good. This is a very popular question on the show. Your most hated character to play against, as well as like who do you enjoy playing against the most?
You know, I hate Steve because I just don't know what to do. He just gets in my head because I feel like he's just standing there doing nothing, mining, but really they have one eye on me. But I try to approach and they have the minecart, and it's just incredibly frustrating. Also, I really don't like fighting Bayonetta at all.
Mm.
It's just so much PTSD from Smash 4 Bayo. I just never got over it. So I'm so glad we don't have any Bayos here.
I wouldn't speak too quickly. I think there is one Bayo. One person uses Bayo here.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Haven't they sworn not to choose a different character though?
They are trying to keep the same main for the whole season, but we'll see. We'll see. Only time can tell if they're going to switch characters or not.
Well, I know Chai is trying to hold. I hope is it Chai? Is he gonna pull out his pocket
I'm
Bayo
not
when we
gonna. I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna put this person on blast. I'm
All
gonna,
right,
I'm
all
gonna
right.
leave it a mystery. You should be prepared for anyone to use Bayo.
That is true. That is true.
All right, so you have played 4 matches total so far against the Commissioner, Wellens, Trev, and Salvo. Those are your 4 matches, right?
Hmm.
So which match do you think you played the best in, and which match do you think you played the worst in?
I definitely think I played the worst my first match against Wellens. My nerves were running really high, and I made a lot of mistakes that I make when I just run in carelessly. So I would probably say that was my worst individual match. Maybe my best one would have been my first match against Trev when he went Olimar. I felt like some of my reactions were really, really quick in that match. I had some good
Okay.
dash attacks for kills in that one.
Do you rewatch your games, or do you just kind of think about them and just kind of remember what you did well and what you need to improve on, etc.?
I have rewatched the ones from the season. I've rewatched the VODs on the stream. Sometimes I'll rewatch some of something if I lost it, but most frequently I'm not one to go back and watch a win or loss. But I do
Okay.
think about them a lot. And also I'm not used to playing with commentators commentating, so I want to go back and see what they said.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is one big strength that Baddy has over locals. It is hard to get a recording of your match at your local tournament, right? Because there's no guarantee you're gonna play on stream. If you bring your own Switch, then you could just save every game you play on your own Switch. But here in Baddy, most of your matches will be recorded, and even if you play an off-stream match, you can just save your replay since you're playing on your stream.
Yeah.
So that is a very good strength that Baddy has. I hadn't really thought of. All right, well that's all the questions I had for Miss Jones. Slade, got anything else?
No, I think I should about wrap it up. I'm glad. I'm hoping I can get to cast one of your games soon. I haven't had the honor yet, but I'm glad you joined. You seem like you're going to be a great addition to Baddy Smash.
Thanks. Yeah.
there anything you'd like to say? Like anything at all? You want to shout something out? You got a Twitch? You want to say something to the community? You want to trash talk Chai? Anything?
No, I can't trash talk anybody. I guess I just want to reiterate that I'm just happy to be having fun with y'all this season.
All right. Well, we're expecting great things, LPJ. Good luck the rest of
Oh,
the
that's
season.
a lot of pressure.
Okay, never mind. We expect really shitty things from you, LPJ.
That I can live up to.
If you quit within the next hour, I will understand, and we will be seeing from you hopefully at least in friendlies.
Yeah, for sure.